We're live.
These guys helping. Find one. Basically,
You're on.
it's not so much the press, it's experience. It's good. I got a hard moment of finally getting around to servicing the generator. It's never fine. I don't know what condition it's in. But the engine's all set, they run great. And most of it's this time, if I get the generator running, I might have power. You need to come out.
Good morning, Concordia. Hello to those of you live coming in, to those of you online. Thanks so much for joining us. Happy unofficial start to summer. It'll warm up. So glad you're here with us today. Let's wake up.
This is yes. This is no.
No.
Hey.
Cutting in and out.
In and out?
Here, Mary.
Okay. How's this? Thank you. Thank you, John.
Good tea.
So, good morning and welcome. And my name's Mary Brummel, and I'm a practitioner here at Concordia. And I am honored and pleased beyond belief to be here. I've been gone for a couple of weeks, and I missed you all terribly. But I managed because I was on islands far, far away, so it's really not so bad. Anyway, I want to welcome all of you who are here and also everybody online. And wherever you are on your spiritual path, you are welcome here. No matter where you are welcome here. Concordia means where many hearts and hands come together as one. And that's one of our principles here is oneness. We believe in oneness. And our mission is to provide spiritual tools for personal and global transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Oh, the energy must be really something in here today. I can hear all that crackling and crinkling in the microphone. Just figure that that's good news, okay? Everybody, that's good news. And our vision is a world that works for everyone. Special welcome to our first-time guests. Please see in the pew in front of you this color card, this connection card. You're welcome to fill it out as much or as little as you'd like. And on the back, the most important thing is to, if there's anything that we can hold in prayer for you, anything that's going on in your life that you would like to see more of, please, or less of, please, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, feel free to write that as your prayer request on the back. And all the practitioners who, some of which of us are in purple stoles, are happy to hold consciousness for you all week long for that desired outcome that you would like. And let me see, the connection cards, yes. And when you fill out the card, feel free to throw it in the basket that will come around later. And after service, everybody is invited downstairs for fellowship and for food. Coffee, food, fun people to talk to, people that love people, people that are happy to be here on the planet will greet you and offer you joy. And so, with that, I simply say, and so it is.
So it is.
I invite you to take a breath.
I see you for the light that you are. I see you for the love that you are. I see you for the light that you are. I see your light. I see your love. I see who you are. I see you for the light that you are. I see you for the love that you are. I see you for the light that you are. I see your light. I see your love. I see who you are.
Concordia. Good morning to everyone here and everyone online. My name is Brian Fisk. I'm a practitioner here at the center. And I'm here this morning to offer you my affirmative prayer for this service today. If there's anything here that rings true for you, please take it as your own. So settle in, throw off whatever it took to get here. It may have been a beautiful ride, bring that with you. However it is that you got here, just settle into being here in this room where the presence is. We'll take a few minutes in meditation. I'll see you in a minute. So this morning's affirmative prayer is for me to know that in back of whatever conditions that seem apparent to me out in the world and in my life, no matter what they may appear, that's exactly what they are as appearances. To know the truth was that in back of all of that, there is one. There's one life. There is one omnipresent, powerful intelligence that is beautiful in its design. And that there is only one life. And that is the life, what I choose to call God. And that is my life right now, right here. And I live in this life as that life. That life flows through me. It pours through me through mechanisms that are magical and wonderful into the outflowing of my life. I know that in this truth, there's only one, and I am unified with that one. I am in that one, as that one, and I am part of that one. And knowing that this is true, I look around at the realization of what that means to me, and I see each and every one here as an expression, individualized, as part of that. I know that I'm one also with each and every one here and the entire universe at some deep level. And so, the beauty of the power of this affirmative prayer is that as I know this truth clearly for myself, it is also for each and every one here, each and every one out into the world, and all sentient beings in the universe. I know that there's peace at the heart of things, there's harmony at the heart of things, and I know that it shows up in the faces of those I love. I know that it shows up as the beautiful world I live in, and it generates an experience of gratitude. That gratitude I breathe into that gratitude deeply, and I breathe out knowing it's true. Quite simply, I release this knowing into the law of the universe, and I know that it acts upon it effortlessly. I just let it go. And I set until just looking around and being in recognition of all of this truth all of the time in my life. I let it go, I release it. And today, I ask you all to say with me, and so it is.
Hello. Hello. Well, is Reverend Ron here yet? Is Reverend Ron in the house?
He is.
Oh, good. So I get to introduce our esteemed speaker today, who has been here on several occasions through Zoom, as well as at our Leadership Council meeting to offer his wisdom and his humor. And Reverend Ron is a motivational speaker. He's a workshop facilitator. He's got over 25 years of experience, and he's been on the planet for a while. He's done many things, many accomplishments, a variety of different companies as an executive, a successful search firm in Southern California that he operated. He's an ordained minister with Centers for Spiritual Living, and he is our Region 11 CSL coordinator. So he is here, right there. He is right there. Hi, Reverend Ron. I don't think he can see me. That's good.
Sunday morning. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Can you all hear me?
But I'm not done.
Sunday morning. It's nice to be back.
Okay. I'm not done
So
introducing you.
my title today is Going Through Difficult Times. And I want to start with a fable. And the fable is about a king who wants to have a painting of peace hung up in the palace. And so he says to all the artists in the kingdom, anybody that wants to, paint me a picture of peace, and we'll choose one. And so after a while, they come down to the two finalists. So I want to tell you about the two finalists. The first one is a picture of a calm lake, and there are beautiful mountains surrounding the lake, and overhead there's a blue sky with fluffy clouds. And everybody that sees that picture says, wow, this is a picture of utter tranquility. Everyone thought it's the perfect picture of peace. Let me tell you about the second one. The second one had mountains also, but they were rugged and they were bare. And the sky was angry. It was lightning and it was raining. And there was a foaming waterfall coming down from the mountain. And right behind that waterfall, there was a tiny little bush growing out of a crack in the mountain. And in the bush, there was a mother bird sitting on her nest. And there in all this angry water, she rests in perfect peace, and she was totally relaxed in her world. And that's the painting the king chose. And he said to his people, the reason he did it was, peace does not mean a place of noise and no trouble. Peace means to be in the midst of those and still be calm in your heart. That's the real meaning of peace. And you know, you don't need me to tell you, we're all old enough to know we're not getting through this life without some tough times and some hard times. But real peace comes from within as we deal with them. Ernest Holmes, the founder of the Centers for Spiritual Living, wrote, Learn to see through confusion into peace, to see through sickness into health, to see through poverty into success and abundance, to believe in the all-sustaining good. Learn to trust in God and be at peace. Pema Chodron is a Buddhist nun, and she has a sign on the wall in her office, and the sign says, "Only to the extent that we expose ourselves over and over to annihilation can that which is indestructible be found in us." You know, and so she's saying, unless you have hard times, you'll never know how strong and resilient you are. And the spiritual journey isn't about finding lasting pleasure and lasting peace. Searching for that over and over again is what causes us pain. It's what makes us miserable. The Buddhists call it samsara, a hopeless cycle that goes around and around. And Pema Chodron tells the story in one of her books. One afternoon, she was sitting in her backyard. It was a really nice day, and she's sitting there having a cup of tea. And her husband comes home early from work, walks in the backyard and says, "I want a divorce. I'm in love with somebody else." And Pema's response was to pick up a rock and throw it at him. And she said when her marriage ended, she tried very hard to going back to her old ways of comfort, security, and a resting place. And she said she realized she couldn't be her old, dependent, clingy self. She had to change. And she said that was her path to awakening. You know, I read some research that shows that most people are way more resilient than we think. We sometimes think people who are scarred by sexual abuse, by a terrible physical injury, by having their parents die when they're young, we sometimes think that those people don't recover. But the truth is, most people have an astonishing capacity for emotional healing. They go through a dark period, but then they find their way. And so I think the message for us in that is when times get tough, we can let it hurt for a little bit, but then be confident that we're going to come out the other side. Rabbi Harold Kushner tells a story in one of his books about a 16-year-old girl who was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes. And it made her different from all her friends. She felt apart. And you know, 16 was a long time ago for me, but I can still remember that most of us, the last thing we want is to feel different when we're teenagers in high school. And so she was depressed. And her folks sent her to see Rabbi Kushner. And what he said to her was, life isn't fair, and you don't deserve this. But don't let this one thing determine who you are. And she heard him. She became an honor student. And when he wrote it, it was 30 years after. And he said 30 years later, she's a wife, she's a mother, she's a realtor, and she's a community leader. Let me give you another quote from Ernest Holmes. He said, if you are experiencing some condition that is making you unhappy, you must know there is nothing in you that attracts this condition, nothing in you that holds it in place, nothing in you that believes it must be this way. So what he's saying to us is our pain, whatever it is, our difficult time, is not God ordained. But Patricia Kasher, the late Patricia Kasher, was a minister, and we were really good buds, really close. And she wrote a lot about grief. And she said if you've ever been gripped by grief, it feels like our life is stopped. It paralyzes some of us with fear. She said, and yet, when you lose something you love, it opens us to healing. So I'm sure all of you know who Anderson Cooper is and who Stephen Colbert is. Well, Anderson Cooper has a podcast besides what he does on CNN, and it's titled All There Is. And he had a brother who committed suicide when he was quite young, and a few years ago, and his dad died, and a few years ago his mom died. And so that podcast is mostly about grief. And he had Colbert on there, and he said to Colbert, can we really learn to love the things we most wish had never happened? Can we really be grateful for grief, for heartbreak, the death of loved ones? And Stephen Colbert said, yes, I believe we can. He said, what do you get in loss? You get awareness of other people's loss, which allows you to connect with that other person, which allows you to love more deeply and to understand what it's like to be a human being, if it's true that all humans suffer. You know, I think in one of the talks I did for you all before, I said this, and I'm just going to say it again. It's a definition of grief that I think I read it on Facebook. It said, grief never ends, but it changes. It's a passage, not a place to stay. Grief is not a sign of weakness, nor a lack of faith. It's the price of love. Think about that. Grief is the price of love for us. And when I think about it like that, it hurts, but it's kind of like an honor to have loved somebody that deeply. I saw a story this week or last week about a woman at work, and she's having a business conversation now with somebody on the phone, and at the end of the conversation she says, I love you, and they hang up, and she goes, oh my God, what did I do? It just came out. And the person that she said it to wrote her back an email, and he said, I know it slipped, and he was very nice. But then he said something at the end that was really touching. He said, listen, isn't it so wonderful that you have so much love in your life that I love you just slips out of your mouth? Isn't it really neat? So I want to talk to you about a few ways to get through it when you're in pain. And the first way is to feel your feelings. You know, if you're hurting and you ignore it, it doesn't go away. It stays in there, and it's going to come out some way or another. You can't run away from something that's sitting on your shoulder. You need to deal with it. And in Science of Mind, we teach that our pain is real. We believe it's a real human experience, but there's a higher truth. There's a higher truth that we can know and we can take into account. You know, another thing you can do is talk about it to your friends, minister, practitioner. You know, I don't need to tell you this. You could pray, you could meditate. You know, I live in Florida. We've got a lot of ocean here, beautiful water. But we live on a river, a big river, and so often I'll just look out and I'll be mesmerized. It's so beautiful. And sometimes nature can take you to a different place. We can see to try beyond to see beyond the hardship and to know that things are going to get better. And I just lost my place. So you're gonna have to bear with me for a minute. We can know that difficult times ask us to ask difficult questions, like, who am I? What really matters to me? What do I want my life to be about? And we can rebuild from there. You know, I'll give you an example from my own life. I honestly hadn't planned to speak about this. I had an issue with somebody I'm really close to, somebody not in my church life, somebody in my personal life. And I have a very good friend who's an Episcopal priest. And I was telling her about it and how much it hurt. And she just said to me, think about this. It was somebody who really hurt me. She said, Ron, think about this. Do you really want to have a relationship with that person? And I only share it because it made me do a lot of really deep thinking that I probably wouldn't have done if she hadn't asked me that question. And there's one last thing I want to talk to you about what we can do. We can be in community. I've talked about this before. Research shows that people who are alone suffer more. So we can be in community. We can ask for help. And not only that, we can see in community there may be other people who have gone through what we are going through, and we can learn from how they did it. And I'll give you an example. When Becky and I were in Arizona, one of my practitioners stopped coming to church. And she was an older woman, and I loved her. And everybody in church did. So I went to her house, and I said, Mary Lou, why aren't you coming to church? And she said, oh, Reverend Ron, I just can't come to church anymore. I've been diagnosed with leukemia, and practitioners aren't supposed to get leukemia. And I won't exactly say what I told her, but it's kind of X-rated. And we were really close. And Becky and I convinced her to come back to church. And what people saw when they came back, besides they loved this woman, they saw how a person of deep faith deals with unpleasant issues. And it was a learning experience for a lot of people to see how to go through tough times. Rachel Remen is a doctor who has a facility in Northern California where she treats people counsels people with serious illnesses. And one of her cancer patients came in one day and he told her this fable. He said, Shiva and Shakti, who are the divine couple in Hinduism, are looking down on the world. And they see a poor, disheveled, tired old man walking. And the wife says to the husband, throw him down a bag of gold. And he says, I can't. And the wife says, what do you mean you can't? You're the Lord of the universe. You can do whatever you want. And he says, he's not ready for it. But she keeps it up, and so he throws down the bag of gold. And now we're going to go to what this fellow was thinking as he walks along the road. What he's thinking is that, oh, I am so hungry and I am so tired. I just hope I can find a place where I can have dinner tonight. I wonder if I will. And as he says that, he's walking around the bend and he goes, oh, look at that rock in the middle of the road. It's a good thing I saw it. I could have stubbed my toe and ripped my sandal. And he goes on, walks around, and leaves. And Rachel Remen says, sometimes life drops a bag of gold in our life that doesn't look like what it is. And she asked this patient, did life ever drop a bag of gold for you? And he said, why, yes, Rachel, the cancer. I thought you'd have guessed that. So a gentleman named Philip Simmons wrote a book titled Learning to Fall. And in the book, he asks the question, for how many of us has life turned out exactly the way we wanted it to turn out? He says, you know, we've all had a tree fall down across the road of life, so to speak. And so I want to kind of get to the end by telling you a story, and of course I can't find it because once again, oh, here we go. I don't know how I managed to do this, but I want to tell you about a college professor that on the first day of class, I might have talked to you about this before, but it's going to end differently. A college professor on the first day of class said to her students, I want to get to know each one of you. So what I want you to do for our next class is I want you to write 2 one-page essays. And here are the topics. The first one is, everything I have ever done has led me to where I find myself today. Everything I have ever done has led me to where I find myself today. And the second one is, it is only after many surprises and choices, detours and disappointments, that I have arrived somewhere I could never have anticipated. All right? It is only after many surprises and choices, detours and disappointments, that I have arrived at somewhere I could never have anticipated. And what I want to read you, I wrote my answer to this question. And I did it in a way, I'm a writer, but I did it by stream of consciousness. So here's my stream of consciousness answer to that question. Born in the Bronx, lonely childhood, military school, terrible experience, somehow make it through. Went to college, get 2 degrees, get married. Corporate career, move a lot. Career not fulfilling, not sure where to turn. Marriage ends, she cheated. I am devastated, not sure how to go on. Moved to California, like the weather, not so much earthquakes. Still not happy with career. Beginning to realize it's not about geography or difficult job. Something deeper needs to change. Not sure why. Feeling lonely and lost. Don't like job. Raising children by myself harder than I thought. Blind date. Never met anybody like her. Fall in love. Get married. Find a church with strange name. Life changes. Become a minister. I found it at last. My place in life. Look back. Who could have predicted? There were regrets for sure, missed opportunities, disappointments, pain, but mostly good. Wouldn't change a thing. They got me where I am. Sometimes look at wife as she sleeps and think, there's been lots of pain, but being with her makes the trip here all worthwhile. How far I have come. Who would have guessed? So I'll just close with these words from Oprah. I trust the ebb and flow of the universe. I trust that life's bigger than what I can see. I trust there is a divine order beyond my control. And I trust that no matter what happens, I will be all right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for inviting me back. I love being here. God bless you, and have a great week. Welcome. I guess I'll get off now, huh?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Reverend Ron. That was amazing. So as we get our sound back, we're gonna take this message a little further. And it's coming on. We got it. There we go. Perfect. When the rain you want is a flood instead, and the roses bloom, but they're not quite red. And when I reach the edge of my bravery, I'll still be singing at the banks of an imparted sea. Sometimes the only way through it is a hallelujah.
The only way through it is a hallelujah.
Sometimes the only thing to do is just to give it to you.
The only thing to do is just to give it to you.
And though my troubles shake me, I know they will never move ya. Sometimes the only way through it is a hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
That's why I say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
There's what I want, and there's where I'm at. Every one step forward got me 5 steps back. I cried, I called, God knows I prayed, but most days faith is climbing up a mountain that stays. That's why the only way through it is a hallelujah. Sometimes the only thing to do is just to give it to you. That though my troubles shake me, I know they could never move ya. Sometimes the only way through it is a hallelujah. 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 That's why I say hallelujah. Don't always fix your problems, but it'll tell you how small they are. That's the thing about praise. That's the thing about praise. It won't always move the mountain, but it's good for the heart.
That's the thing about praise. That's the thing about praise.
You'll never know what it's gonna change, but it'll always leave a mark. That's the thing about praise.
That's the thing about praise.
Yeah, it might see walls start falling, or it might just change my heart. That's the thing about praise. 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 Whoa, the only way through it is a hallelujah. The only thing to do is just to give it to you. All my troubles shake me, I know they could never move ya. Sometimes the only way through it is a hallelujah. That's the thing about praise. You'll never know what it's change. That's why I say hallelujah. That's the thing about praise. You'll never know what it's change. That's why I say hallelujah.
So we have a little. Is it on? Hi. Turn it on. that one instead. Thank you very much. So, we have some news you can use. And I think we're starting with the Women's Circle. And Elaine.
Yes, we are. Thanks, Mary. This Friday night, it's our Friends Around the Fire for all the women in our community. Please bring your friends. We intend to be outside with music, drumming, and just beautiful connection in our community. It is here, weather permitting outside. If not, we'll be down in Fellowship Hall. Bring a chair for outside, a blanket, a drum if you have one, and just come enjoy this community.
Thank you. And next we're going to talk about the Walking Each Other Home that's happening. That's a collaboration between the Barbara Fewitts teaching chapter, South Coastal Massachusetts teaching chapter, and it's the first of many, or one of the many collaborations that you're going to see unfold as time goes by. There's a great desire, and Barbara is spearheading this, leading this, toward pulling together a whole collaboration of the Northeast, not just us and a couple of other people. So you're going to see more and more of this. It's a very exciting expansion that we're looking at. So this one is really about advanced care planning. We're going to offer a lot of different resources, ways of planning, and options, and ways to have a well-rounded death care team and what that might look like. And that's Saturday the 31st. It's on Zoom, 9:30 to 11. And if you would like to sign up for that or get more information about it, you can see me downstairs, or Barbara, I think, will be down there. And also you can sign up right on our website, www.concordiacsl.org. You can sign up there on the calendar, you'll see it. And a love offering is always welcome for this, but we're excited. Judith Sutphin will be there working with that as well as myself and Barbara. And the annual meeting, oh no, Ronnie, would you, yes, it's your turn.
Thank you. Good morning, my brothers and sisters. I want to invite you all next Saturday at 2 o'clock at 316 Staghead Drive, my place, to reconnect with nature. So we're going to do a ceremony some of you have participated in before, where we plant a peace tree and put our intentions into the roots. So we are all one, but we are all one with everything. And we look to the trees as our big brothers. They're keepers of wisdom and knowledge. And so just like we're taught here, change your thinking, change your life. When we put those intentions into the roots to bring peace all around the world, we can create that. We are creating that. So I'm looking forward for all your participation. Thank you. So it is.
Thank you. And that is next Saturday at Ron's wonderful retreat center, I would call it. It's gorgeous. He has the labyrinth. And how many of you here have been to Ron's? Yes. So that's good. That's good. It's a good place to go. And the annual community meeting. I just wanted to say a little something about the annual community meeting, because we've had annual meetings for 35 years or so. I mean, it's been a long time having annual meetings. And we've been through a lot of different iterations of Concordia. And what's happened in this past year is not only, a year ago, April, a new leadership team came in to take over from the old leadership council, which had been through a lot of roller coasters. And this year has been like the wild, wild west. Yes, sir. We're just finding our way. We're making our way. And I don't know if everybody understands that there's actually two arms that are wrapping around the Concordia community. There's the Leadership Council, which is the governance of Concordia. And then there's the practitioner core, which is the healing arm and the ecclesiastical arm of the community, which takes the place of us having a minister at this time. And now what has happened through several different communications and meetings, those two arms are coming together as a team, and we're calling it the leadership team. And so we are working together as the larger team. And it's for direction, it's for planning, it's for our purpose. We have our purpose, we know what our values are. We've been doing many, many, many meetings and hours and hours and hours of working together and becoming a team, a real leadership team. It's a really wonderful time to be involved. So I'm hoping that we'll see you next week to sort of get a bead on what is really going on behind the scenes with Concordia. How does that affect you? And if you want to be involved, there are of course many ways to be involved, but we also want to know what's important to you. What do you love? What do you value? What do you want to see more of or less of here at Concordia? So please join us next week after the service. We'll be downstairs for that meeting. It'll last between an hour and an hour and a half. And there's summer camp.
Spiritual
Elaine?
summer camp. Thanks, Mary. This is going to be so much fun. Summer camp for adults here for 6 weeks. On Tuesday night starting June 17th from 6 to 8 p.m. I believe. And I was thinking about what to say about Spiritual Summer Camp. Lisa Conlon is going to lead this, and I'm her assistant counselor. Now, we haven't seen Lisa for a couple of weeks, and we won't see her for a couple more because she is out west living her dream, a manifestation of what she desired, and that's what this summer camp is all about. She is in her RV, she's touring the West Coast, going to amazing, beautiful places, and having an amazing time. So if you want your life to feel like that, not necessarily look like that, you might want to come to summer camp. And for my class that is right now attending the Consciousness and Creative Process class, let's put it into action. So join us for summer camp. We start June 17th. You can register online. It's $100 for the 6 weeks, and if you've attended before, there's a $20 discount.
Thank you, Elaine. And that's it for your news you can use.
Hello. Once again. This is, if anybody wants to know what all this noise is all about, this is, the other side trying to get a message through to us about the abundance we have. I'm here to talk about conscious giving. And conscious giving, for us, is that even worse? Can I turn it off?
Can you just try something? Can you try walking to this other side of the stage and just see if it's still staticky over there with the microphone? Bring the microphone with you and see if you're over there, if it's still staticky.
Maybe. It's a little better.
It seems like it's interference with either a computer or an amplifier or something that causes that static.
It's you guys. It's the high energy band, the high output. Is that better?
Yes.
Oh. How about now? So the short version is, conscious giving is all about the circulation of what we call money in this society. And the more circulation we have in this community, the greater outreach we have. The more we can expand what it is we're trying to get done here, offering facilities, classes, things like that. Everybody knows what the circulation is really all about here. So I ask you to open up and really allow the circulation of money in your life to be huge and abundant. First and foremost, to take care of your personal needs and have it be in such a greater way that it can overflow right into this place and many other places in your life that it'll do good. So would the greeters please come up? There's a few ways that we can contribute here financially. There's a card. I don't have one with me, but Ron's waving one in the back. And Mary's got one here. And we can contribute cash. We love cash. Checks are good. Credit cards. Any information with credit cards is kept very confidential. And you can text. You can scan the QR code, whatever that is. And we would love your assistance to your community. So with that, we have a little affirmative prayer that we are all very familiar with. Divine love adds me, blesses and multiplies all love that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is. Once again, thank you all for being here today. I have a closing affirmative prayer coming in a minute. I just want to mention that anybody that has purple stoles on down in is available for what we call a 1-minute miracle, where you can ask for some consciousness surrounding what it is you would like to have in your life. And we love being present for you. So don't be bashful, step right up, and we're available afterwards. And we would like to ask also that everyone please move from the sanctuary downstairs as soon as the service is over, as there's another community coming in to use the space. And so, let's just take a moment and recognize that there has been a demonstration of what we declared at the beginning, that this service has been in service of the highest good for each and everyone here, as well as myself. And for all of those who have tuned in and all of those who can hear us through the ether out there in the world. As we move on to what's next here today, please carry with you, as I do for myself, the acknowledgement that there is presence in your life, in my life, that has always been there, always will be, and that we move safely on to what's next today, and that all of it unfolds in perfection, the perfection that it already is. So with that I say, and so it is.